Welcome to another episode of the Sports Camp Expo. I'm your host, Ken Allen, where we're helping sports and fitness entrepreneurs start, run, and grow your camps, clinics, and online instruction. Today I have with me Eric Ruth, who I'm going to bring on in a minute, and he's going to be here to talk to us about referral-based marketing. Yes, that's right, referral. The good old-fashioned referral-based marketing. It still is important as ever, and I'm excited to bring him on. Just a brief intro about Eric. He's been in the fitness industry since 1998. He truly is one of the trailblazers in the industry. Because if you can go back that far, remember there weren't a lot of people doing much in the fitness industry then. It was maybe become a celebrity or own a Gold's Gym. The idea that you really can. There's so many people making a living and making a livelihood out of their passion now. Back then, the game was totally different. So Eric is a true trailblazer in, both brick and mortar and then in taking his programs online and helping others take their programs online. Yet, as much as he's done with all of that, his most recent launch was referral-based marketing. So I can't emphasize enough how important that is, and I'm going to bring him on here in a second. Eric, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, Ken. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on this.
It's great to have you. Like I said, you are one of the legends in the industry and still going strong. And that says a lot in itself because, as you know, a lot of guys come and go.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Longevity, I think, is a hallmark, it can be a hallmark of quality. If you've been around for a long time, generally speaking, you're doing good work. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've been around for a long time. And it's interesting what you said in the intro that you're right. It's referral marketing. After everything I've done, and I've done a lot in this industry, I'm not going to list it all out. But the thing that I come back to and the thing that I sort of hang my hat on and feel is the most important is that referral marketing, because referral marketing impacts every aspect of your business. And so in order to have a strong referral program within your business, you've got to have a strong business. You've got to have a strong business. And so that's why I like it, and that's why we call what I do the referral challenge, because not only is it challenging to generate a lot of referrals, it challenges you to grow and improve your business. It's fun. Yeah.
Great. So let me start with this, okay? Because I love putting myself in the customer's shoes. It's one thing I always like to do, when I'm putting my own stuff out there, and I'm like, how would someone maybe feel about that? I put myself in the customer's shoes, and I'm bombarded with referral messages all the time. Okay, and to make it real specific, because I get it across every industry, but let's hone it into our audience and talk about sports and fitness. So right now I'm even thinking of my current gym that I belong to. Okay. And I love it there. Okay. I belong to a local gym. And if the owner of my gym is listening right now, shout out to you, Debbie, because I'm going to pick on her a little bit here. But I'm happy there, right? It's clean. I get a good workout. I've been a member there for 3 years. And I'm just thinking, even when I'm in there, I see the flyers, whether I go to the bathroom or when I first walk in, I see all the time that if I refer a friend, I can get an extra month. Maybe even the bonus is even sweeter than that. I've seen some of the stuff on social media where it says if I refer someone, I'll get whatever, like I said, an extra month or a free training session, whatever it might be. Yet as happy as I am as a customer, I'm saying to myself, I never took the time, because I saw one of those flyers or this, to actually stop in my busy day, and I'm a busy entrepreneur, to actually, call up my buddy and say, hey, I need you to come check out this gym. I could get a free month if you sign up. Not because I'm ashamed, or I'd be thrilled if someone called me and said, Ken, I'm looking for a gym. I'd be thrilled to actually recommend where I go proudly. But yet it was never enough action that I actually was going to stop my busy day and make that call. And I see this in all kinds of businesses. So I guess that's the question I want to really open up with is, the difference between, asking for a referral and having an effective referral system.
It's a great question, and we could literally take the entire time just to talk about this. That's perfect the way you outlined it, and because it shows the problem, and the problem is, as you articulated, what's in it for you? What's going to motivate you enough to move forward and refer someone to take, because it's, even though it's a relatively simple thing, and as you said, you like your gym, you're happy with them. There's no glaring problems there. So at least in your mind, because let me back up for a second. There's this formula that we recommend, and it's tried and true. It's the referral formula, and the acronym is E or EAR, and it stands for earn, ask, recognize, and reward. So the earning part, it sounds like your gym is doing a good job of that. They're fulfilling on their promise to you. Although there's more that can be done in the earning side, and we're talking about earning the referral. So, for instance, in order to systemize this, one of the things that they should be doing is sharing with you social proof of others just like you who are referring people to them on a consistent basis. That way you feel like, hey, all it does is it continues to lower the resistance from you as the person who might refer. It lowers your resistance. You feel, because there's a time constraint. Number one, you're thinking, even if it's a small amount of time, you're thinking, I've got to take the time to call my buddy up or to send him a text or whatever to get him in here. And then there's the other challenge, the other resistance, and that is the risk. The risk to you, even though you like the place, you're going to be putting your friend potentially in a sales type situation where he or she is going to be sold something. And then if it turns out they don't like it down the road, they could hold you responsible, and it can potentially damage the relationship. And even though that very rarely occurs, it's always in the back of someone's head. So that is essentially the biggest challenge to overcome in referral marketing, is minimizing or removing the risk to the referrer, the person doing the referral.
It's great that you brought that up, because I even think now that you're saying that, it's like I even think of like when I do make referrals, like if my friend was called, like my friend called me up last week about a handyman, people are always looking for a handyman, they'd rather not go on Angie's list if they get a good, and I'm even cautious there because, like you said, I don't want to risk the friendship. I remember saying, look, I can only share with you my experience.
Yeah.
It was really good to me. He was really good to me. I thought, I was happy with it, so you have my blessing. But there was that little bit of hesitancy, as in like, I didn't want to go crazy with the endorsement, because if he does have a bad experience, he's not going to come back and say, Ken, who's this jerk you sent me?
Right. And stuff, it's one thing to refer someone to, even a handyman or a restaurant or a dry cleaner or something like that, where it's potentially just one-off. Because if the handyman screws up, although the handyman is a higher level, restaurant, if you're going to rank the levels of service, right, restaurant is like in the middle, because they might get a crappy meal, but all I got to do is say, hey, man, that meal stunk. Yeah. That was a bad reco. I'm never going back. Fine. Right. But with a handyman, he could potentially come in and damage the house or do something worse. And so, that's a higher degree of risk. Yeah. But a gym, referring to a gym or a personal trainer, that's even a higher level of risk, because you're talking about establishing an ongoing relationship.
Personal relationship.
Yeah. And so there's a great deal of risk there to the relationship, to the person referring. And so it's challenging. And I'll tell you that the best way to overcome that risk, to mitigate that risk, is to shorten, there's a couple ways. Number one is you shorten the period of the purchase, let's say the trial. So you offer, rather than saying, hey, refer a friend to become a member with us, where they got to sign up, using the gym scenario that you mentioned, potentially sign a contract. And whether they do or not, that might be in the back of their head, where they might have to sign a contract and obligate themselves for 12 months. How about this? Refer your friend for a 30-day trial. It'll be a half price trial. So we're setting it up like a front end offer, like an FEO. So you refer, your friend gets a special deal because you can refer him or her. So instead of paying our initiation fee and a monthly contract, all that stuff, he gets a 30 days for half price. At the end of the 30 days, if he wants to stay, if he loves the place, he's convinced that he loves the place and wants to stay, we waive our initiation fee, we waive our whatever annual fee, and it's just straight up month to month or contract, whatever you want to do. But so you're lowering risk. That's what you're trying to do, is lower the risk and make it so that the person referring, you in this case, comes off looking like somebody special. Like, because you sent them that you referred your friend got a special deal because he knows you, because you hooked him up, and then you come off looking better. So that, and stronger, and that's always a good thing. They're positioning you well. So that's one way. The other way is free. There are free things that you can do, and we can talk about that later if you want. But I think that's probably the best way. What we just mentioned is lowering that, minimizing that risk to the greatest degree you possibly can.
So do you actually recommend when you're teaching this, whether it be privately with clients you work with or in a course, that someone in that position actually is proactive and says to the member, like, in my scenario that I gave you, would you suggest to my gym owner that she actually, has a little talk with me and just shares with me what I should be doing?
Great. Another great question. You're too, brother. That's awesome, because it shows you've thought about this stuff, and I appreciate that. Because you actually used the most important word right there, proactive. Most people with most businesses, their referral program is completely reactive. They put up a few signs, they mention a few things about it, and then they sit back and they wait and hope. And we all know hope is not a strategy. It's not an effective one. And so that's being reactive, and reactive doesn't work. So you've got to be proactive. You've got to do exactly what you just said, which is either sit you down or sit down everybody, or do it in groups or however you want to do it. But have a conversation or show videos. If you're dealing with, say you got a club, you got few thousand members, you're not going to be able to have that conversation. Or you've got a facility, a box, and you've got a couple hundred members. You're not going to be able to have necessarily those one-off conversations. But there are ways you can do some sort of mass communication. The point is, they've got to be proactive, as you said, about educating. That's what we talk about. The secret sauce in referral marketing is empowering and encouraging. Empowering means giving people tools and educating them about how to refer, just like we just talked about before. So you give them a tool, like, for instance, I don't have one here, but a little business card. Some of our people in the referral challenge, here's one of the things we teach them to do, and it's worked great, is they create little business cards that they give to their members that indicates that their member is a trusted advisor of that business. It's a referral card that the member can then give out to other people, and it delineates what the offer is on it. So you're getting the member, the client, actually physically handing this card to somebody and saying, hey, here's the opportunity to take advantage of this offer, which we just talked about a minute ago, is lowering that barrier. So we give them tools. We empower them with tools. And then the encouraging part is the consistent messaging. And we do that in a lot of different ways. But that's part of the whole systemization that we sort of touched on earlier. You've got to have consistent messaging in order to have a system.
And I would assume now with technology continuing to change, what you just said with the business card, that could be done virtually too. It could be a virtual business card. It could be something shared through email or through Facebook, whatever.
It could. And in fact, that's not, we probably have some people testing that. But what I like, because it is old school, I like a tactile, physical card that somebody hands to another person, because then you're really getting that human interaction, which is so potent, so potent.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of ways.
We get a million digital things in our inboxes, obviously. So there is, cause that's a good point, because there is still there's less and less that we're physically handed. I mean, even my physical mail, although my email inbox, I'm still a big fan of email marketing. It works. We have great email marketers on this event. But I notice my regular mail is less and less each day. It's just it's a handful of bills, and uh, that's about
Right.
it.
And if you think about it, that presents a huge opportunity, because 10 years ago it used to be your mail was like a decent sized stack. 20 years ago, that was everything. Mail was everything, man. Getting the mail was like an event. But so today there's less in there, so there's more opportunity to make an impact for people that use it. And so to sort of use that as a lead in regarding the systemization of referral marketing and the empowering and encouraging, remember that's giving tools and then consistent communication. That's what makes up the core of the system. One of the things we do is during new client onboarding. So you bring in a new client, they go through a certain process at the very beginning that's one-on-one with the person during the sales presentation that begins to indoctrinate them into the referral system. But then as soon as they leave, they are given a sequence of emails, of course, and a sequence of offline letters that we provide that people send out that are just subtle referral programming and also building the relationship. It's all about relationship marketing, but we make sure that we're not just in email, we're offline in the mail too, because as you said, it's there's so little in there. Now you can really stand out.
Yeah. And this is a great example, because for everyone listening at home, I mean, I gave the example of a brick and mortar gym, but also we have a lot of people in service-based industries in sports and fitness. So there's a lot of guys listening right now, and girls, who are either just starting out in their business, or maybe they're 1 or 2 years in. Maybe there are strength and conditioning coaches who have maybe 5-10 clients right now, or tennis coaches, or golf pros, or a lot of people in the youth working with youth athletes. Okay. Running flag football leagues and trying to build those up. This is just as applicable in those areas.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And particularly, let me address that because, one of the things that particularly folks who are trying to build a business at an early stage, who, as you said, might only have 5 or 10 clients, and they're trying to break through. They're trying to get some, more momentum in their business. They have traction. Now they're trying to get momentum so they can grow. One of the best things they can do is a newsletter, but an offline newsletter, a print newsletter that's simple, that's all about, if you're a strength and conditioning coach, your print newsletter should not be about, here are the biggest news in strength and conditioning. It shouldn't be that. It should be about you, your values, your family, why you got into this business, why you're doing what you're doing. It should be social proof related. In fact, let me just show you something. This is kind of cool. You're not going to be able to see it really good on here, but I'll hold it up. This is the print newsletter for one of my longtime clients and just a great friend, a guy by the name of Brad Linder. You might have heard of him. He's just a fantastic fitness business owner out of Texas. And he does this print newsletter, and he's got a lot of fitness related stuff in it, but it's mostly relationship driven. It's stories about his clients and what they've done, and cool stuff like that. And of course, stories about him and his family, and he's got 5 kids. So what I'm talking about is building those relationships, because that's ultimately one of the primary things that drives referrals is the strength of the relationship. And an offline newsletter, particularly for new businesses, can be very, very powerful, because you really connect with these clients that you have, and they start talking about you more. Because remember, and I'm sorry to ramble, but I just want to tie this together. The point, the way to systemize referral marketing is empowering and encouraging. That's tools and consistency. So offline newsletters are a great way to go about that.
Yeah. I'm curious, do you think one of the things that holds people back from putting a better referral system into place is there has to be some kind of mindset thing of like a fear of asking?
No doubt. And another really good question. There is absolutely a fear. And I think it's the same fear that people have about selling, because they see it the same way. They're afraid to close. If you read books on sales and you talk to sales experts, they'll tell you that the number one problem with salespeople is not asking for the business. They can do the greatest presentation in the world, but they won't ask for the sale. They won't close. And closing is everything. You're not selling if you're not closing. And it's the same with a referral. You've got to ask for it. And yes, I think people have hangups about that. And the reason why is right here. This book, let me recommend this, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. This is all about how we set our own internal thermostat about what we think success is for ourselves or what we believe we deserve. And I think oftentimes people, when they think about their own business, because they're so close to it, they see all the holes. They know where all the little problems are, and they let that overshadow all the great stuff that they're doing for folks. And so they're sometimes reluctant to properly value what it is that they do. This is the reason why people sell for a price point that's too low, so they don't have margins for growth. It's the reason they don't sell effectively, they don't close effectively, and it's the reason they don't get enough referrals. As you said, it all comes back to fear of asking.
Yeah, I think another one, which I didn't often do this in my, I've started in the last few years because someone brought it to my attention, and it really opened up my eyes, asking, why did you buy from me? I mean, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid to even forget, like, not only afraid to ask for a referral, but actually afraid to go to their customers and actually ask them, why us? Why me? Why our company, or why me as an individual service provider? Why'd you buy from me? I mean, you learn so much about your clients and yourself and your ideal market by asking those kinds of questions. I became conscious of that, and I started doing it, and then I realized how few people actually asked me. How many people I do business with who don't even ask me, have no clue why I picked them.
It's mind-boggling.
It really is. I had the only one I noticed who really did it in the last year, who I've done business with, who's someone who's been on this event, is Lynn Coffey. You might know Lynn.
Oh yeah.
And when I did a website with her, that was in her initial email. Why did you? And I wrote her back, and I told her why I picked her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is brilliant. A simple question, only a few words. Why did you buy from me? But I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? No one. I think I thought of all the things I've purchased in the past year, and no one asked me that.
Yeah. And as you said, it's one of the best ways to generate really valuable user feedback. I mean, really valuable the user feedback. And it also could become a lead into a testimonial, getting a testimonial, or it could be a testimonial in and of itself. Sometimes people just gush. They'll be like, well, geez, you were recommended by 13 different people who said you're the most amazing thing since sliced bread. And so of course I had to buy from you.
Yeah.
You just never know what you're going to get back. And so, yeah, it's just a damn good question. And Lynn, who's an old friend of mine, I go way back with Lynn, is as sharp a direct response marketer as there is in this industry. She is very good, and she does everything right, and she uses checklists. And so that's what I love about her. That's why, when you do business with Lynn, you're going to get what you pay for, because she's accountable,
Exactly. So speaking of checklists, I know you have a checklist for your referral system. Can you give us a little taste of that?
I do, and I'll show it to you, and a couple other things here real quick. But yes, can I go ahead and share my screen, Ken?
Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Okay. All right. Hang on just one second. Okay, so want to show you a couple things. This is the referral success checklist, and this is something that your folks will be able to download free of charge. And it's a freebie, but this has real value to it. This is 14 pages long. I think there's like 60 or 70 different checklist items that go into great detail. But I'll tell you the reason why I created this, and one of the reasons why I created the referral challenge, is because I did this survey back in October of 2016, and I asked 1,000 different fitness professionals this question: which marketing strategy has generated the most good clients for you over the lifetime of your business? And let me blow this up a little bit, but 76.3% of them said referrals.
Wow.
The next closest one was 13, and that was online advertising from Facebook and stuff. I would imagine that now Facebook is so prevalent, and I think some people are really getting it dialed in, that this might be shrinking a little bit. People might be getting more of their clients from Facebook. But the real question here, and there's the reason I phrased the question this way, good clients. Not just where are you getting the most clients, where are you getting the most good clients? And that's a hugely important distinction. And one of the things that I experienced, and you may remember from the Groupon days, when a lot of people were using Groupon to drive their business, and it was killing them. And some people still use Groupon, but it was killing them because they were getting these coupon junkies, people that would just come in and take advantage of their front end offer, and then no loyalty, they'd blow out. What I'm concerned about, and it might be an invalid concern, I don't know, there's not enough data in yet to tell, I don't think, but is that I'm wondering if Facebook is going to somewhat become the Groupon, because there are so many people putting out these Facebook ads now, so many fitness businesses in local areas just throwing offers out there, and it's like a race to the bottom with pricing and value and all this stuff. And so I'm wondering if it's going to cultivate a coupon junkie buyer on Facebook. We'll see.
No, it's a great point, because, and I'll be totally transparent here with you and our audience listening. And I'm a huge I'm a huge fan of systemizing and learning digital marketing. I understand the importance. I've had some of the most amazing experts, including you, on this event, and this is pre-recorded, but for those of you at home watching right now, Eric's going to go early on in the event. So you're going to have a lot of the people I'm talking about you haven't even seen yet in the order of how I'm showing everything. But total transparency, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm still running my tennis academy right now, but I'm also doing coaching and consulting. And I have 5 really good clients right now who I'm working with regularly, building their business on a regular basis. And I thought about it, and I'm like, all of this marketing information, and I'm not diminishing it at all. I'm a student. I want to, constantly learn and make my life easier as a business owner. But I thought about my best clients and the clients I'm working with now, and none of them came from a funnel or from a lead magnet. And look, I'm still learning a lot of that too, but I just thought about that. And I'm like, you know what? They all came from, there were different ways. A couple of referrals, a couple of people I met at masterminds who really got to know me, which I can't replicate that in a video, in a short 2-minute video, it was different. It was different ways, but I looked at, and I said to myself, I've been studying all this marketing, and I'm still going to continue and dial in on what works for me, because I want to combine the digital marketing with the word of mouth, but full transparency is that's what's worked best for me as far as, in this other aspect of my business.
Yeah, no, and it's a great point. And I think, people need to think more, and this is one of the issues that I think folks encounter, is that they don't sit down and think enough. And it's largely because of things like this. We're constantly being bombarded and distracted, but if you really sit down and think about, like for me, one of the best ways, if I was going to start a fitness business now, what I would do, I would certainly leverage online marketing to the greatest degree possible. I would absolutely do that. But what my focus would be, if you've ever seen the movie The Founder about Ray Kroc and McDonald's, if you haven't, I recommend it. There's a great scene in there where Ray Kroc is trying to get McDonald's franchising off the ground. And what he does is he just goes from speaking opportunity, public speaking opportunity to public speaking opportunity. He'll talk to anybody who listens. He goes to churches, Kiwanis clubs, Rotary clubs, small gatherings at the park, wherever he can get in front of people. And he is an evangelist for his business. And he does public speaking. That's what I would do. I would get out and do a lot of public speaking, because as you just said, and I completely agree, the relationship ultimately is the most important thing, the most compelling thing to getting people in the door to your business. That's why we focus on referrals. And I think that's why you need to do things that build relationships as much as possible. And certainly public speaking, you can't do, there's no better way to build relationships quickly with a lot of people than getting in front of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's dig in here. Yep.
Yep. Let's do it.
Sidetrack you there, my little rant.
I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so it's clear. Okay, so this is the referral success checklist. And what we do is we cover the formula that I talked about earlier, earn, ask, recognize, reward, explain what the formula is so you understand it. And then the checklist itself is broken down into 3 sections. The earn section, are you doing the things necessary to earn the referral? The ask, are you doing things necessary to ask? And there's a lot of, and then of course the recognition and the reward, which is critically important. That's the R portion of it. Some items in here, I'll get to the ask bit because we were talking about that earlier. But here, I wanted to mention this, the earning. We talked earlier about social proof, the importance of social proof. Can't overstate that. And one of the things you can do to earn quickly is to make sure that your Facebook business page has lots and lots of positive reviews. We just did a campaign with our folks to get more reviews on our Facebook page. Sent out 1 email, got 38 5-star reviews like that. It was all just about how you do it. So there are things like that. All right. And then let me just scroll down to the ask. Different ways that you can ask. What am I doing here? I've got some notes here on different ways that you can ask in different scenarios to set you up for those types of things. Do you empower your clients to give out referral gifts? And this is what we were talking about earlier, that the little business card that's essentially like a gift that you as the client can give to people that you care about that minimizes that risk. And it's also compelling. It's not just your average, it's not what they'd get if they just walked in having not known you. So it's something special. One other thing I want to mention, Ken, and because there's a lot of stuff in here, I don't want to go through it all step by step, but your folks will get a chance to do it. Here's an assessment at the end that they can take that sort of assesses their ability to generate referrals. So it's a valuable resource. Here's the thing about all marketing, and I don't know how much time we have left, but I just want to get this one point in.
Sure.
Regarding all the marketing that folks are doing, whether it's referral-based or any type of marketing, this is the problem with a lot of businesses today inside this red box. This is a smart marketing flowchart, and it essentially shows you how to be successful with marketing no matter what you're doing. It starts here where you test the strategy, track results, measure ROI. Are you acquiring clients at break even or better? If no, you go here. If yes, you go here, and you systemize, optimize, scale. But in order to make this decision down here, you have to be tracking and measuring. And this is where so much breaks down. You mentioned earlier about how Lynn asked you, why did you choose us? It's a great question. Another question that should be asked is, how did you hear about us? Of course. And that needs to be tracked. And so I just want to show you, because I'm going to give this to your folks too. This has a KPI worksheet where they can reverse engineer how much money they want to earn and the key performance indicators they need to focus on in order to do that. These are all related to referrals. And then they get this lead tracking sheet here that will help them track so they know what the sources are and they can do intelligent marketing based on this flow chart right here. So got a couple real good goodies for your people.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And to me, again, because a lot of people listening right now, not everyone listening right now has a huge budget to spend on Facebook ads or whatever. It doesn't need to be Facebook, whatever marketing they're doing. Putting an effective system like this into place, it's a no-brainer when you're in that stage 1 startup phase of your business. I mean, I'm not saying that when you're further along, you shouldn't continue to do it. But my point is, something you can implement right now with really just by getting organized and the mindset of doing it and taking the action on it. And you don't have to have a big budget. This really requires very, very minimal budget at all. If anything.
Oh, yeah, and no doubt. And it only gets more important as the bigger your business gets, I think, because the larger your business gets, the more influx of new clients you need in order to sustain that cash flow. True. And become sustained, because your overhead grows, everything grows. So you need more lead flow. And oftentimes the only thing that folks are doing to get that lead flow is straight up advertising. And if for whatever, Facebook or whatever you're using, if those lead costs start popping on you and the client acquisition cost starts popping on you, getting really expensive, then what do? You're kind of stuck. So that's why you got to have a referral system in place and cranking, particularly as you get bigger in business, but at every stage of the business.
Yeah, this is, and again, this is really important because some of this stuff, and this is a great resource, but some of this stuff that we're talking about, it's not the fun stuff that people want to think about. Most of us in sports and fitness, we do it because we enter it as a livelihood because we're passionate about the practice of it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if we don't learn the business side of it, we're not going to be in business very long.
Absolutely. And that's why I think, if you're in business, regardless of what business you're in, if you're in business, you're in the marketing business.
Yeah.
Because without the clients, you're up a creek.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing I'll add is just, and I always talk about this, knowing your strengths, because there are going to be things that, there may be someone looking at this and be like, it's just great information Eric's giving, but I don't know, it's a little overwhelming to me. And that could be with anything. This could be accounting. There's a million aspects of your business. Identify the things that you don't like doing or aren't your strengths and get the help you need. I mean, it's critical. There's amazing people, there's programs like yours. There's amazing mentors out there that have been there, that have walked down this path. And, because it's not a strength of yours, don't ignore it. Just, there's other solutions. No one could do everything in their business, nor should they.
No, that's exactly right. And that's very well said. And I think, I think one of the greatest benefits of what it is that you're doing with this event is that you're exposing folks to a lot of ideas. And that way they can listen to me, or they can listen to Lynn, or they listen to everybody and see what makes the most sense, sort of what they want to work on, what they know they should have. Obviously, they know they got to have a good website. So Lynn is a done deal. You should be talking to Lynn. And you pretty much should know that you need a good referral program. That doesn't mean you need my program. It just means you need to be focused on referrals. And then, of course, advertising. So you need to, and then prioritize your list and come up with a strategy for acquiring what it is that you need. That's the path forward for these folks. It's because what you don't want anybody want, and nobody in business should be scattered. The lack of focus is the number one killer in business. It's the number one killer. It's lack of focus. When you laser in on something, you get stuff done. You move forward fast. Lack of focus will kill you.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that really is the point of this whole event. I'm presenting a lot of different ideas, not for information overload. I want to show people the opportunities that are out there and let them choose for themselves. Because the reality, when I work with people, I never say you have to. I'm very careful of those words, because what was good for you and worked for you might not be a good path for someone else, based on their skills, based what income they want, based on where they're at in their life, based on when they're transitioning. I mean, it's totally different if you're in your young 20s and you're just in total grind mode and you don't have a family, as opposed to maybe you're transitioning to a new business now. It's going to be different. And if the online stuff overwhelms you, either get the people you need to surround the people that are going to help you with it, or that might not be the path for you. We're presenting lots of different business models. The fundamentals are the same in every business. You got to attract, you got to qualify, you got to convert. But the type of you got to build the ideal business for you, what's going to work for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think, as long as you're using intelligent criteria for making a wise decision, and that means as you said, what are your strengths? What is it you need in this moment? What do you feel is going to give you the best impact, the highest and best return, essentially, on your investment in this moment? And also, is it wise? Is it sort of something that's established and has been working for a while? That type of thing is certainly important, because I get a little, back in the day, I won't go into, but way back, I used to be a business opportunity junkie. That's kind of how I got my start in
Biz ops.
yeah, biz ops. I pursued those for years. And the shinier, the better, man. I was like, give me that, give me that. And I think, everybody knows there's a lot of shiny objects out there right now. And some of them are just that. They're just all shine. And so it's good to go with stuff that's tried and true.
Absolutely. Great advice. I've been down that road. So, and I do want to add, I really encourage everyone to I mean, it is a freebie, but it's nice that you're giving it as a freebie, because you went through it fast because there's so much meat in there. And I encourage everyone I'm going to look at it and use it in my business. I've been fortunate in my tennis business that referrals came naturally. There was a lot I don't encourage that. There was a lot of factors that made things work for a while, but with my consulting business, I'm going to put this into place, no doubt. I know the value of a good referral system. So,
yeah, and that's just it. It's the value, because the value of a client, and that's another thing. If you know your numbers and you know your lifetime client value, and in the fitness industry, that lifetime client value is pretty significant.
Yeah.
You know the value of a referral, and so it behooves you. It's worthwhile to invest in building out a nice. Where you're consistent and you're empowering and you're encouraging, as we talked about before, using smart tools and a consistent message.
Awesome. All right, Eric. Well, can't thank you enough. Any last words of wisdom?
Last words of wisdom are to number one, to say thank you to you. I appreciate this opportunity, and number two, to encourage folks to, as you mentioned, to review that checklist, because it's not just some. It stimulates your mind. It gets you thinking, as we talked about earlier. It's very important to really think through what it is that you want to accomplish in your business, and do it in a systemized way. And that's what we've done with the checklist, is gone through it in a very systemized way, so you can check off whether you're doing something or whether it needs to be done or not. So just encourage people to download that.
Great. All right. Thanks so much for being here, Eric. And I'm going to wrap things up. So for another episode of the Sports Camp Expo, I'm your host, Ken Allen, signing off. Have an awesome day.